Hey everybody, this is RRPG here, and I'm here to present to you another 2 cents video on the 2 cents block for you all. And E3 is about to come and go. I guess we can all pretty much come to the consensus and say that Nintendo had the strongest showing. But even though they had the strongest showing, there are analysts who believe that their E3 presence this year won't even save them. And they feel that Nintendo needs to bring their games to mobile and tablet platforms. Yeah, like we haven't even heard that before. But anyway, 2 analysts from Singapore from different companies had this to say about their presence at E3 and why they feel that Nintendo needs to bring their games onto, other platforms. And this is what they said. This is the first one from BGC Partners in Singapore. Nintendo executives seem to think that the issue is the lack of games. The real issue is that Nintendo is focusing on the casual gamers, while the gamers are migrating to smartphones and tablet platforms where games are free. The disruption has come from smart devices, and Nintendo has been caught out. It's never a good idea to count out Nintendo at any stage, but this kind of disruption has never been seen before. I think Nintendo is in a lot of trouble. And this is what the analyst from Jefferies had to say, who is also from Singapore. This company is throwing good money after bad. Go to where the casual gamers are. You need to take your software and your games onto those platforms. I really don't even know where to begin with this, because these are the same freaking people who still think in the same mindset as Michael Pachter and all those who believe that Nintendo needs to take their games and their back catalog to smart devices, which is something that they've been against for quite a while now, because it's really not something that they're looking forward to anytime in the near future. Maybe it's something that they can do within the next 10 or 20 years, in case they need to pursue new sources of revenue, but they're really not that desperate right now. And every time when I hear somebody say anything about Nintendo needing to bring their games to smart devices, this is going to make me want to raise a huge stink about it. And these are the reasons why I feel that the quotes are wrong. Every first-party company's presence at E3 is not just about impressing stockholders and shareholders, because E3 is about the games, and it's for the gamers as well. And their presence at E3, along with Microsoft and Sony, whoever has the strongest presence is the one who's going to potentially gain more trust and the money from consumers. And as long as Microsoft and Sony continue to do console gaming, as well as Sony continuing to do handheld gaming with the PlayStation Vita, then Nintendo is not going to go anywhere. They're still going to be in the console and handheld market, whether you like it or not. And Nintendo is still selling strong with their handhelds, even in Japan and even here in the United States and in Europe. So as long as they keep doing that and continue to make money, they'll be fine. I mean, sure, they may had 3 consecutive losses, but they're innovating with newer ideas too, like with the NFC figures called Amiibo, and even bringing about new IPs like Splatoon, and even Codename Steam, which is coming out on the 3DS, and that's being backed by Intelligent Systems. And if you take a look at that game from the screenshots that Nintendo has posted on Facebook, the game actually looks pretty decent, by the way. But anyway, getting back on track. I also want to say this too. Even if people are moving to smart devices, they're still going to come back to console gaming at some point, because they're not always going to stick on the most expensive device on the market. And when you take a look at smart devices, sometimes they can prove to be even more expensive than console games, like the iPad, for instance. I don't know why people are invested in buying something that could potentially be more expensive than what either Nintendo, Microsoft, or Sony has up their sleeves, but they continue to play games on it for free. It's like, okay, you buy our most expensive product, and you're going to get a bunch of games that are free, and there's hardly any replay value or any quality attached to them, which most of the smartphone games are lacking in quality, and they're just more about quantity, to be truthful. But, even if people have those devices, they're still going to come back to their Wii U's. They're still going to come back to their PS4s, their Xbox Ones, their PS3s, their 360s, their Wii U's, their Nintendo DS's and 3DS's, and PlayStation Portables, and even PlayStation Vitas. Games on smart devices is only for those who are wanting short-term profits that can give insane losses in the long run if the companies continue to be stuck in that model. And companies who do that, I feel, are going to pretty much bite the dust if they continue to invest in smartphone gaming where there's hardly any quality, and if they, are only giving them for free and or just giving them for a quick buck, because, developing games really cost a lot of money, and you need a lot of money to kind of run a business too. So I don't know any company that ever managed to profit aside from like Rovio in in the smartphone market or in the mobile gaming market in that stature. So Nintendo, and also I gotta say this too, Nintendo is in no desperate situation right now to place their games on smart devices, as they have plenty of money still stacked up in their war chest. They still have that $32 billion stacked in their war chest. And as long as they continue to at least get some profit and hardly suffer a vast amount of loss for the next 40 years, then they'll be fine. I mean, sure, they need to get back in the right track with gaining money on a yearly basis, but with the newer things that they've been doing, as well as what they presented at E3, I can say that they're trying to get their footing back into gaming and say, hey, everybody, we're not just a console for the casual gamers. We're a console for everybody. We're a console for families. We're a console for average gamers. We're a console for the core gamers. We're even a console or a gaming company that's for even the hardcore of gamers. So I don't know why you're still just complaining at Nintendo that they need to do this, but you guys really need to stop with giving that same demand, because it is still getting very tiresome and very ridiculous, because it isn't working, as making smartphone and tablet games isn't a profitable business. And as Nintendo said, they have not seen a lot of companies actually manage to profit from going into mobile gaming in that stature. So either come up with newer ideas or acknowledge them for trying so hard to do the right thing. Seriously. You really need to understand that E3 and gaming companies in general are about trying to please everybody with great experiences and what they offer, even though they're trying to get the almighty dollar, but, that's another story. Anyway, guys, that's all I have to say on the matter, so I want to know what you think. Do you believe that these analysts are right with what they say, or do you believe that they are wrong for what they say? And if they are right or wrong, then let me know why. Anyway, be sure to rate this video, as well as leaving your positive and negative feedback down in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to my channel underneath the video, as more support from you guys will mean that more content is coming from me in the future that you won't even find anywhere else. And until next time, this is Double RPG signing off by saying Godspeed and game on, gamers. Have a good one.
You